Well, the U.S. Secretary of State has said that there must be strong response to the August 21st chemical attack near Damascus.
Bashar al-Assad has used chemical weapons at least 11 times or so, according to our best judgments. With clarity now in this evidence we have presented to the world on August 21st, he has one of the largest stocks of chemical weapons in the world, and at the moment he has no intention of really negotiating. And the risks of not acting are, in our judgment, much greater than the risks of acting. And that's why I say this moment is important.
John Kerry, however, said the crisis in Syria has no military solution. He was speaking in Paris at a joint news conference with the Qatari Foreign Minister, Mohammed al-Attiyah. Elsewhere, Kerry said the U.S. has brought several other countries on board to support an attack on Syria, but he didn't name those countries. Kerry further noted that the risk of not acting on Syria is higher than acting. Well, let's turn to Belfast, joined by East Affairs expert, author, and Middle East Affairs expert, Mr. Saeb Shaath. Thank you so much for being with us. What do you make of John Kerry's latest remarks? On the one hand, he says that there is no solution but a political solution to the situation in Syria. However, he also says that acting is more important than not acting right now in the situation in Syria. Your take, sir?
I take on Mr. Kerry as President Putin described him. He's a liar, a compulsive liar. Somebody who brings us photos from the Iraqi war, which is a photo actually won an Italian award, and he presented to the Congress as this is the victims of the chemical attack in Syria carried out by the Syrian army. So this man, I won't even entertain what he says. He is, as Putin described, a liar. But let me get at the point of the Iranian and the Iraqi statements. Both countries knows what an American aggression is and how many millions of lives they get lost under Americans' boots. Let's not forget one of the war objectives, which was stated openly by both Obama and John Kerry, was to send a message to Iran. What was that supposed to mean? After finishing with Syria, then they're going to turn into a change regime or destroying Iran or occupying Iran. Iran suffered a very long history of Western domination and interference in its affairs. I want to remind the viewers of the British and American coup in 1953 against Mossadegh government, which the CIA openly admits today. In that coup, they stopped the Iranian from getting sovereign over their wealth and nationalizing their oil. And they installed the puppet, the Shah, who turned Iran to be, at the time, to be the biggest military base for the United States of America and to loot the Iranian people's wealth. The same thing happens to the Iraqis when they involved them in a war against the revolution of Iran, who managed to kick out these imperialist puppets. And they suffered for 8 years, both countries, from a designed war to weaken both of them. Then they occupied Iraq, of course, after the war of 1991 and then 2003. Millions of Iraqis died in there. I want to say this is all what is happening, and the direction of the war on Syria, I can understand it from one political and strategical point of view. The desperation of the U.S. imperialists to control the area militarily now. They cannot compete economically with the Chinese or with the BRICS or even with the EU. Now they want to sustain their presence worldwide with military force.
Well, let me just jump in here, Mr. Shaath. When you talk about Iran and Iraq, you're talking about both countries that have actually had first-hand experiences with chemical weapons, actually either provided by the United States or used by the United States. We know the Iran-Iraq war, that Iranians and, of course, some of the Iraqi Kurds were victims of Saddam Hussein's chemical weapon attacks. Of course, lots of that was provided by Western countries, and also in Fallujah, in Iraq. This is with the recent war in Iraq by the United States, that we're still seeing the results of depleted uranium and other phosphorus bombs, other type of chemical weapons that were used there. How can the United States even start to mention about that chemical weapon usage is their red line when they have been and they have probably used illegal weapons more than any other regime in the world?
I'm going to add 2 points to what you said, correctly what you said. First of all, they are the only country in the world used atomic bombs against the Japanese. They are the ones who used in Korea and in Vietnam so many attacks of biological and chemical weapons. Adding to what they supplied Iraq during that, what they used on their own people and against Iran. The attack on Fallujah, which they used, plus the white phosphorus, they will use as well the depleted uranium. So many deformities in Iraq today in that area. So the cancer as a disease is widespread. Their support, and they didn't condemn Israel when they used in 2008 attack on Gaza, the white phosphorus. Nobody condemned in the West Israel for using that kind of chemical weapons. And to add to that, they were doing what they call it, the eager lion war games around Jordan, and they're preparing the ground for invading Syria, sending trained terrorists and mercenaries, over 45,000 sent after trained in Jordan by Israeli and American Marines to attack Damascus.
All right,
when the Syrian army counter
20 seconds, Mr.
them,
Shaath. Sorry, 20 seconds. Go ahead, please.
Army counterattack them. They use the chemical weapons in there to cover up their defeat and to bring on the United States of America and NATO and Turkey to attack Syria. That's what happens in there.
Thank you so much for being with us out of Belfast, author and Middle East expert, Mr. Saeb Shaath.